Hello, this is Withers.Lt and I'm back again for part 2 of my testimony. And part 2 is the tragedy part. This is the part I would love for everybody to really listen to exactly what I'm saying. Because what I'm saying is the truth and it's coming from the heart. The tragedy part came in, I say around about 13 or so or whatnot, when I put my football down and my basketball down, I traded that for cocaine. At the age of 13, I started selling cocaine. I started hanging around a group of people. Wasn't the right group of people. I started hanging around drug dealers. I started hanging around people who rob. I started hanging around people who rape women. I hung around people who drink, who smoke. I did that from age 13 all the way to 28. That was me. Because like I said, I grew up in the housing authority projects. And growing up there, everything's not pretty. You don't eat with a silver spoon. Growing up there, you gotta learn how to take care of yourself. And I grew up in a time where your parents really didn't have money. And for you to have money, you had to go out there and do something that you didn't want to do. And what I was doing was bad things. And at that time, I felt like that was the right choice for me to do. I felt that was the right choice for me to do if I wanted some new clothes, or I wanted some new shoes, or I wanted the girls to like me, or just to have some money in my pocket. I felt like that was the right thing for me to do at that time. So I did that for quite some time. The next day, you know, at age 16, I got a girl pregnant. So got her pregnant. We bought in a son, but within that time, I found out Army recruiter. I had another child was on the way too as well. So I didn't have one, so I had two at the same time. But I was still in high school. I was still in my parents' house. I was still going to school. I was still doing things that I wasn't supposed to do. You know. So I was still doing that. Then the heartbreak of my life happened to me. It's a really emotional subject, but as a minister, I don't hold nothing back. And that's how I'm going to share my testimony. I'm going to share my testimony. At that time, I found out that my father, the one who I look up to as my role model, as my friend, as my everything, has contacted the HIV virus. Man, they hit me hard. I went through that for quite some time. I seen a man go from 220-something pounds to 80 pounds quick. And when I seen him go through that transformation, I still stood with him. I still talked to him. And he told me how he did it and why he did it. But I just couldn't understand it. Why he did something like that. Why he did something like that to me. Why he did something like that to my family, which my mom and my two other brothers and my sister. Why he would take something, a poison needle, to stick in his arm to jeopardize his family, the one he said that he loved. That's what I went through. I went through that. I seen my father go through all different types of stages with that deadly disease. And by the grace of God, my mom didn't even have it. And she didn't even know. She'd been with this man for a long period of time. So I saw that. And I saw my father take his last breath in our house. I seen him when he died in front of my face. But he told me to keep a promise that no matter what, if he's going to die, that I'm going to be a man. And I'm going to stand up for what I need to do. So I did that. So after my father died, I was still left with 2 kids. And at that time, I was expecting my uncles, which my father's brother, somebody to step up to teach me how to be a man. But I didn't get that. At that time, I needed that. I had 2 kids, so I needed a role model. I needed that father figure. And that wasn't there. So I turned more back into the streets. The streets now was 100% father figure. I got more involved in the streets. What I mean more involved in the street, I mean I was still selling drugs even more. Smoking marijuana, drinking, partying, robbing. I even got to a point I was so down I even started snorting cocaine. And the snorting cocaine it made me feel a certain type of way. They made me feel like I was the baddest thing out there in the streets. I went through that to this one time. This lady, our next door neighbor, she saw me. I guess I was going to do something, man, she ain't had no business doing. And she said, "Sonny, what are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to do something." I just can't remember what I said I was going to do. And she said, "Son, if I think I know what you're going to do, you're going to be pushing up daisies with your father real soon." As soon as she said that, I knew exactly where she was coming from. From that point on, I went. I didn't snort cocaine no more, but I still was selling drugs. I still was hanging with the wrong crowd because I was still looking for that father figure. I was still looking for that person to fill that void that my father left me at. I was needing that. I was left all alone. They had nobody. I was turning to that person, to this person, that person, and like I was hitting brick walls. Still didn't know which way I was coming or going, y'all. That's the pain I was going through. That's the tragedy that I faced. I even seen some of my friends get killed in front of me. I seen some of my friends get shot in front of me. But it's still a part of the game that I chose to live. It's still part of the lifestyle that I wanted to be around with because I was still looking for that role model. I was still looking for that father figure. And like I said, my role model and that father figure was the people in the streets. It was the drug dealers. It was the pimps. It was the robbers. The people who killed people on a daily basis. Them, the people who I looked up to. Them, the people who I ran the streets with each and every day. That's what I felt like my father was. And I blame my father for a long period of time. And I blame God too for taking my father. I blame him for doing that to me. I blame him for shooting that needle in his arms and jeopardizing me, his 2 grandkids, and my brother and sister, and my mom. I blamed him for a long time. For a long time. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I blamed him. I was mad at him because that's at the time I needed him the most. There's a time I needed him right there to teach me how to be a man because I had 2 kids of my own. I didn't know how about raising no kids. I didn't know about being no man. That's the point I needed him at, and that's why I blamed him for so long. That's why I blame God for taking him away from me. I went through that tragedy. I went through that, and it hurt. And it hurt for a long period of time, but then I had to forgive myself, and I had to forgive him too, because I knew he was in a better place. That's the tragedy I went through. By losing my best friend, my father. By losing my closest friend, C.J. McClinton. By losing some of the other people I saw beside me get shot and killed in front of my face. That's the tragedy that I went through. You follow me now? So whatever I'm telling you from the heart. There's no corners bent about that. What I'm telling you truthfully. Now, I want y'all to finish in, listen to part 3. How God favored me through all this I went through. If you don't get the whole full message on Instagram, please go to YouTube at Withers.Lt. That's capital WITHERS.LT and get part 2. I love y'all. This is Lt. Get ready for part 3. Amen.